We got a very interesting show. And it's about the bullying of an African-American woman who happens to be an elected official. But what's so hardening and what pains my soul is that the bullying is coming from an elected official who happens to be a male. We're gonna get into this, but first I need to let you know that the reason that this show has been put together is because of the producer of this show, who also happened to be the chairman of United Peace, Inc., none other than my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. So you can call this a show where Gator is about the honey-do list. You know, honey do this, honey do that. Well, I gotta let everybody know that what they're doing to this woman is wrong. And the technical advisor that's helping to make this show go off as right as it can be is none other than Brother Omari. With all that being said, let me say to God be the glory, and I'm gonna bring on this charming young lady to explain her situation, and then we're gonna get into it. Come on, sister, let the world know who you are.
Thank you. Good evening, Gator. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It is wonderful to have the opportunity to have a platform. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm Nyota Figs. I am the city clerk of Calumet City. I've been the city clerk in Calumet City since 2011. I've had 3 elections and was reelected successfully. And this past election, we have a new administration. Our new administration, the mayor is Mayor Thaddeus Jones. Since May 1st, I have had open arms with the mayor. I've invited the mayor and his administration to come into the city to help transition the city. And initially, everything was going well. Unfortunately, until I challenged him on following some rules and regulations. I didn't realize that I was not supposed to do that. As a result, that's when the bullying started. Most people think bullying at work, that's only child's play, that's only on the playground. That's not how it happens. That's not true. There's bullying that happens, you know, amongst adults, and there's bullying that happens at the workplace. And so most people may consider it workplace harassment. It's not quite that though, because it's also the intimidation, inflicting trauma, ostracizing individuals. And so 70% of the individuals that are bullied at work are women. We tend to be very quiet about being victims of bullying. And so I decided that having a platform, being an elected official, that I would use this opportunity to speak up on behalf of all individuals who were bullied at the workplace, but specifically women who are bullied at the workplace. My situation is even more unique because I'm an elected official and not an employee of the city. Most employees would be able to go to EEOC and take some of the things that have happened to me and file a claim and possibly win. Because elected officials govern themselves, we're having a hard time establishing behaviors and making sure that the mayor acts appropriately, because if I was an employee, it would be a different story.
You know, one of the things that's key, when I saw in the media what he was doing to you, and by the way, for my viewing audience, I know the man. I know him when he was alderman. I know him when he became state rep, and we're gonna talk about those things. And I knew about alleged domestic violence charges against him. I say allegedly because he didn't go to court, but then again, there's something out there that's saying that he did wrong when it comes to violating a woman. But that's a different issue. What's important here is, let me give you a definition of what the truth of the matter. The bully's desire for power is stronger than their feeling of empathy. So the bully is willing to hurt others in order to feel powerful. Bullies deny their behavior. Oh, I'm not bullying her. They blame the person that they're bullying. Oh, they're the ones that start all this. Or they make light of the intent of bullying. The menacing nature of bullying, what we know, what we can do. The fact of the matter that if she was an employee of his, one can imagine from the actions that he had displayed towards you, Madam Clerk, is you want to keep your job, you better not say nothing. I better not hear nothing. I think you might want to stay after hours. Go get my donut, go get some coffee, and don't you say nothing. But that's not my job. Who asked you that? Mm-hmm. But you are an elected official. Okay? You was elected to be the clerk. And with that job came special duties and responsibilities. Could you explain to our viewing audience what he has done? In my opinion, he overstepped his authority as you've been elected official. So could you share that with my viewing audience?
Sure. So I want to make sure that you made a really good point, and I want to emphasize that point. The point that you made is you said that if I was an employee, he would say, oh, do you want your job? I'm going to take that from you. Well, technically, that's exactly what he did. He is treating me as if I'm an employee. If I do not respond like he expects me to, then I am persecuted and punished because of that. So the city clerk is the collector of the city. The city clerk is the keeper of the records. The collector of the city collects any licensing for the city. That's pet licensing, business licensing, vehicle licensing, court adjudications, and collectings of any fine, funds, and fees. The mayor also to conduct to create minutes and records for the city, and the keeper of the records and the keeper of the seal. Those are the basic and very general duties of the city clerk. I received a memo 22 days into the mayor's administration, removing all of those duties from me, but stating at the bottom, the day before he asked for it, he said, I would like for your minutes to be in my office at 9 a.m. in the morning. And that was right after I had told him about his illegal posting of minutes as it relates to the Opens Meeting Act. So he asked for my minutes, like, oh yeah, I want your minutes at 9 o'clock in the morning. Probably anticipating a response as into, I don't have to give you my minutes at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I will submit them according to the rules and regulations and the laws of the city as it relates to the city ordinances. That next morning, I received an email that stated he was taking all of those other duties in order to free me up to allow me to work on my minutes, things that are important, that he feels that is important. So to go to your point, although I am not an employee, he is treating me like an employee, and he is still intimidating and inflicting trauma and removing duties as if I was his employee. So I can imagine what some of the other people feel like.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because the residents within Calumet City, mm-hmm. once they read the article in the Tribune and they saw that I was in support of you against this bullying, They went to sharing a lot of things with me, with what they feel is wrong that what he's doing to you. But he has, for lack of a better phrase, he have a Trumponian attitude about what he's doing. There's a lot of people that want to come to the aid of you, but because of what they are witnessing, what he's doing to you, they feel that he can do things worse to them. If they're employees, he can make it hard on them. If they're looking for city services, he can make it hard on them. If there are businesses, he can make it hard on them. And one of the things that's key, like the people are telling me, even though he is also a state representative, they are wondering why is it that he is so quiet when there's a story that says over 11,000 people have died because of COVID within the nursing home.
Wow.
And they want to know, why is he so quiet about that, even to the point, while we on this show, the lobbyists for the nursing homes are having a fundraiser for all the state reps. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow.
The state reps know that some of these nursing homes, a lot of these nursing homes are in their districts. They're not telling the governor to enforce the law called the Nursing Home Care Act, Section 8, against nursing homes that aren't in compliance. And the people are saying, well, Gator, the governor also said he's going to make sure that he's financing their campaign for re-election, long as he's being silent.
Wow.
So why is he wasting his time and energy to bully you when you are elected official, when he's not being fully accountable to the residents that elected him to be a representative, especially when 46% of those that died in the nursing home are African Americans? You know what I mean? Those are things that he tried to give the impression, like I said earlier, the bully always try to put the blame on the victim. He's sending out letters to the alderman to try to get the alderman involved in this, to try to get the impression like you to blame in case the casino people make the decision that they don't want to have a casino in Calumet City. But he's the one that attacked you publicly to the point that he had you cry in the city council because of all that stress, where just going in City Hall of Calumet City creates a stress point to the fact that it adds to your drama, because he tried to tell you that he's not going to allow you to do what the people elected you to do. So you like to share something on that?
Yeah, so I think he is rather busy and overwhelmed with making sure he is guiding and controlling what it is that I'm doing. The city clerk job is a huge job. It's a huge responsibility. It comes with a lot of responsibilities and things to do. So whomever, in addition to, he has to have his mayor functions, he needs to complete those, in addition to his state rep functions. So I'm sure that him and his staff is overwhelmed, which is one of the reasons why I tried to come in and assist them when they initially were there. One of the things that I know is that by state law, you can't change certain things as it relates to an elected official's salary, duties within a term. And so the same things should apply. The mayor should not be able to come in and take duties from someone or change their job description of another elected official because you feel that you are the executive officer of the government, and that is what he has expressed. The emails, because it's not just the him taking the duties and exerting power. It is also the way he does it, right? It is rude, it is curt, it is hurtful, it is demeaning, it is disrespectful. It is just all of that. And I did notice that I started to have a physical reaction when I started to go into work because I really and truly love my job. I really and truly love Calumet City. I love what it is that I do. I've been here for years. As being an elected official is not easy. So in order to keep doing that, I would imagine that one would have to love it. And I noticed almost instantly that when I went to reach for the door, I literally started having a physical reaction. And so the first day that I noticed it, I thought it was something that I ate. I thought it was something that was going on. And every time I noticed that at night, I had the same feeling when I would check my email. I checked my emails at different times, and the same feeling consumed me. And so what I did was start to pay attention to it and notice that every time that there was getting ready to be an encounter, that I saw an email from him or an email from his staff, or when I read what he put in the emails, which were things like, you need to have this done by end of day. You better do this. If I don't have an extra key, you need to give me an extra key to your office. If you don't by 3 p.m. today, I'm going to rekey your entire office, literally rekeying the facility where the records are, those type of things. So I just took up, I still wanted to come to work. I still wanted to do my job. So there's a park across the street, Pulaski Park. And I just started to sit in the park, and I felt better because my surroundings were not City Hall. I wasn't consumed by the walls of City Hall. So I was able to operate a little bit better, even though I still received those same emotions when he communicated with me. And that's when I identified that I was having issues, and I was responding to what it is that he was doing, and that it wasn't fair, because sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? And so it is even how he leads. It's not inclusive. It is not transformational. There's no servant leadership. There's no cohesiveness, and he lacks all of those abilities. And I understand sometimes people just lack those things. We need to call them on the carpet when they are performing in a way that they shouldn't. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to say, well, if I feel like this, like an elected official, I wonder how many other women, how many other people feel this way, and I need to speak out on it. And I wanted to inform him of how I felt, and I know others around me feel the same exact way. They have expressed it to me. They're just afraid to say it. I am a perfect example of what not to do, because he does not have authority over me. So think about those individuals that are appointed by him, right? Think about the individuals that work for him.
Right. One of the things, the lies that he's been putting out through the media, like it's public knowledge what he sent to Fox News, his comment, his statement. He says Clerk Figs was stripped of her duties in 2012 by former Mayor Michelle Quackenbush. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the alderman there, J.R. Patton, he said that both of those cited Clerk as being inept and accountable. This is what he says. The truth is this: a review of the minutes in the municipal code found no mention or record of the clerk's duties being changed. Okay? And this is a quote from Alderman J.R. Patton. Okay? So He comes back and he says, during my short tenure as mayor, Clerk Fizz has made several mistakes, including losing nearly $3 million of city funds. This occurred during our mismanagement of a federal funded program. Okay, his short tender program concerning parking tickets. This gross mismanagement is unacceptable and unfair to taxpayer citizens of Calumet City. But with further review, and we find out the truth is there is no federal funded program for parking tickets. You follow what I'm saying? So could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So there is no federal funded parking ticket program. The tickets are local municipal tickets, parking tickets that are written by our local Calumet City Police Department. So the tickets that he's speaking of are tickets that happened during COVID or right before COVID. The police officers write tickets, and once they write tickets, they hold them at the police department for quite some time. They enter them into a system that helps them to identify or to keep track of the information, the tickets for future purposes, for research or whatever the reason. They then send those tickets to the clerk's office. Now, what actually is supposed to happen is those tickets are supposed to be entered in a system, and then they are transferred into a system that I have. Calumet City does not have that capability. So those tickets are then sent to my office, and then I upload the tickets. Being short-staffed and having staff that was laid off during the entire COVID because they went home, we had a worldwide pandemic, those tickets were no longer able to be collected upon because they are 45 or more days older. When the mayor came in his administration, I took the tickets and I said, okay, and I asked the legal while he was standing there, what should we do with these? Because I know these have expired. There was no one here to put them in. We had to prioritize work. And it was his city attorneys who said, okay, these are not valid anymore, and you cannot collect on anything that's 30 to 45 days out, and therefore we need to not collect on these tickets. So there's no federally funded parking program. There's no mismanagement of funds. And at this time, I'm gonna be really honest, why are we collecting parking tickets on residents who were laid off and didn't have jobs and passed away due to COVID? It's a surplus tax, right? Most of them are surplus taxes. So why would we attempt to enforce that? And the previous administration agreed with myself that that was not a priority. And so now the new administration want to come in and say, oh, she mismanaged funds. This is what she did. And that's not the case.
You know, I'm glad that you sharing this. This is live stream. Within 2 business days, this will be a YouTube link. I see the counselor that's coming up. He reminds me of his dad. You know, Mr. Royko, great man. He was a great man. He was a great man.
Oh, this is Alderman. This is Alderman Patton. He's the 6th Ward Alderman that I see.
Okay. I thought that was.
But he do
Royko.
look like.
As a matter of fact, they look alike.
Yes.
Hey, I put it this way: when I saw him in the park that day, he was dressed down. You know, I see him with his necktie on and everything else. You know, no disrespect, Alderman. You know what I mean?
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's why the picture's there right now, because I'm still dressed down. You saw me in the park that day. I was working on my house, and I'm still here working on my house tonight. That's why I got the picture up.
Hey, that's the wonderful thing about Zoom. You know, we went from the Jeffersons, moving on up to the east side. Now we're here. I got to wrap it up, but could you say something, Alderman, so that we can close out about your feeling about the bullying of the mayor of this elected official?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing that I said that day in the park when many people gathered to show their support for the clerk. I think the way that this clerk has been treated, by this mayor and this administration is incredibly disrespectful. It's not professional in one bit. She's an elected official. She's elected citywide by the residents of the city of Calumet City. And, she doesn't deserve to be treated this way. The voters elected her to do a job, and the mayor's not allowing her to do her job. And I think it needs to stop. And I think, the mayor and his administration need to learn their limitations and learn what the limits on their powers are, and let the clerk do her job. It's one thing if you're going to take somebody's job from them, but you better do a better job than they are. And everything they've taken from the clerk, they've dropped the ball on and messed up. So
right.
I think it's time for her to get her responsibilities back and be treated as an equal peer and a co-elected official.
I want to say this. You're 100% correct. And one of the things he really need to do, because I'm seeing it and people are seeing it, he need to learn the meaning of the Robert's Rules of Order. With that, I want to thank you, Madam Clerk, for being on. And to my viewing audience, I want to say to God be the glory. And this is Clerk of the Calumet Court. Calumet City. Clerk of Calumet City. I want to say to God be the glory to you, because this is your story on the Bradley Report. That's us. And hey, stay covered up.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right.